Welcome everybody to another copy critique hangout shitpost stream where we critique copy that was posted in our Discord server. And there's a link to that under the channel or under the description. If you want to join, it's free, whatever. Most of you are probably from there, so you don't need that. But I know we have some people from the copywriting collective with us also today. So, come hang out. If you want your copy critiques, we tend to have a lot of demand, and so we always prioritize people who post in our exclusive channel, which you can get access to if you join our Patreon at patreon.com/thecopythatshow. But yeah, that's the only plug at this part of the show. Before we jump into the actual critiques, do you guys have anything else you want to say or add or throw out there for people?
I'm ready.
Yeah, thanks guys for adding the context for those who did. It's extremely helpful. I think we should just get in it.
All right, let's do it. So I should share my screen on this window.
So I think we're starting with Katie's lactose intolerant sales emails, right? Okay. Cool.
And I will zoom in a little bit too so we can see this better. We're just gonna go in order of like that they were submitted in, and so we'll try to get them all. I know we have some time constraints, but we will do our best.
Yeah. I can start by
a little bit? Perfect.
I can start by reading this.
Okay.
Does that work for you guys?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Katie, it sounds like so to be fair to everyone, let's give everybody enough time. This is 6 pages, and it sounds like she wants us to focus on email 2. Email 1, but I am going to read this one real fast, just get through it because I think it's really good context for kind of like what's to come, right? Okay, so background info. So let's see. This first email is to followers of a health blog or a list focusing on gastrointestinal issues, primarily lactose intolerance. This list could be rented for use, and email number 1 is designed to essentially be a cold email. So Dan, 33, has been lactose intolerant for years, finally just gave up on having his favorite thing, cheese, which is a miserable existence. Like, that sucks.
Time to end it.
Yeah, time to end it. With Bactose, the secret weapon, you can eat the foods you love again without any of the horrible side effects, offering a better solution to manage lactose intolerance and all of its side effects. Click the link at the bottom and go through the website for more information. Okay. So subject line number 1, a better way to manage your lactose intolerance is here. Are you guys getting my emails, the sounds and stuff coming through? Sorry.
Just a little bit. You're fine.
Okay.
You're good. Yeah.
I got to shut down everything. Okay. Being lactose intolerant sucks. The cramps, the bloating, the gas, not to mention frequent visits to our friend, the porcelain throne. Luckily, I found a secret weapon to end all of that. And get this, you can get it too and start living the lactose-filled life you deserve. With a secret tool I'm about to share with you, you can eat and drink all the dairy you want without dealing with the cramps, the bloating, the gas, eating smaller portions of ice cream, yogurt, or cheese, spending your money on expensive lactose-free options, adding drops to your food every time you have dairy, taking pills every single day. And let me tell you, there's nothing else like it on the market. Trust me, I've looked far and wide in order to calm the discomfort in my stomach. And honestly, I'm overpopping a Lactaid every time I have a slice of pizza, and I'm sure you are too. Want to learn how? Check out the link below that I wish I had found so much sooner. Start your journey to a lactose-filled life. Happy eating, Katie. P.S. If you think it's tempting now, just wait until you see the limited time offer. Okay. So same sort of background on email number 2. Hasn't been looked at yet. At this point, potentials, in this case, Dan, have received email number 1. And regardless of if they open or not, I think the email could be suitable, but more so for those who didn't open the first email. Okay. Stage of awareness, solution aware to product aware. Subject line number 1, introducing the last solution you'll ever need for your lactose intolerance. Subject number 2, goodbye discomfort, hello Bactose. Subject number 3, less work managing your lactose intolerant and more time enjoying dairy. Hey, Dan, what if I told you that you could have month-long relief from your lactose intolerance without having to take medicine daily? Pretty cool, right? But how does that all work? I mentioned in my last email that I have a secret weapon, but I think it's time to share it with you. It's called Bactose. Bactose is an all-new probiotic designed specifically to help you combat those nasty side effects from eating and drinking dairy products. You know them, the stomach pain, the nausea, the awkward shuffling as you try to pass gas while walking and not let anyone know. We've all been there, trust me. How is this possible? Science. A recent discovery of a new bacteria located in the small intestine called lactobacillus. How do you say this? Lactobacillus
Acidophilus?
acidophilus. That's right. Okay.
Okay.
Has been found to produce a special enzyme called lactase fluorescein hydrolase, but we'll just call it LPH for short. LPH then helps to break down all the lactose consumed before it can cause you misery. And get this, lactose isn't just for people with traditional lactose intolerance. It's been proven to help those with celiac disease, inflammatory bowel syndrome, aka IBS, and Crohn's disease. So what does this mean for you? It means less time spent finding medicines that work, less discomfort to just deal with, and more time eating those delicious dairy delicacies. Look at you, ice cream. All you have to do to achieve this is to take 2 pills a day for 7 days to experience relief all month long. Only 7 days of medicine for 30 days of relief. Sound much better than 30 days of medicine for 30 days of relief, right? To make this an even sweeter deal, Backhouse is currently 50% off your first order when you use the code DairyMe. And if you don't experience the freedom of eating dairy wherever you want it, Backhouse has a 60-day money-back guarantee. No risk, all reward. Try Backhouse now, risk-free. What are you waiting for? Katie. Ooh, all right. What do you guys think?
Can I give I'm going to come in hot.
Coming hot.
I think this is good copy, but I think it's a bad email.
Yep. Agreed.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah. And what I mean when I say it's a bad email is that it is doing way too many things. The goal of an email is not to get someone to read an entire email. It's to get them to take a different action, whether that's clicking, or clicking. It's always to drive a click to somewhere else. And so the more time you spend getting somebody to read a really long email, that's less time they're spending clicking off to another site or location or whatever, where they can maybe buy the product. And one of the challenges too is that because the copy is good here, you're actually bringing someone through all these stages, and at any of those points, they can choose to disengage. And so if you actually convince someone with that first line, oh my God, I really like this idea of not having to suffer anymore, there wasn't an opportunity I saw there to click to actually get to the page where they could buy the thing. And so they actually have to read through all the copy, which could, turn them off if they don't want the pill. It could turn them off if they don't like any of the things in between. And so you could actually potentially explain away somebody that you've already convinced to, buy the product or, be more interested in the product. So this needed to be like way shorter and hit on like just one point. This could be like a series of emails, for example. But like this being written well actually makes it worse because like you're going to convince people to read the entire thing and then they're going to get fatigued and like not click at the end. So good job, but do it better.
Crushed it. I think you nailed it, Rod. Well done. Luke, did you have anything?
Yeah, I just like my first reaction to this is just going in like 5 different directions, and it's hard to track, especially like someone who's reading an email, right? Like if you're reading an email, you're not gonna pay so much attention. Most people just read from their phone. They might just like use the little previewer to see what's going on, and just having this like blurb of text isn't really gonna be in your benefit, I think. For example, there's a part about like Crohn's disease and like a couple of others, which just kind of feels like it's not really strengthening your message, right? Like your goal here is to take one point and really expand on it, at proof elements, maybe at dimensionalizations, at interest, at critique or like intrigue, and sort of hint at, a potential gain, right? Like if you can make the intrigue feel like you're going to get something, if you're going to discover what's behind the intrigue, right, and click the link, then you're going to get a qualified lead, person who clicks on the email, clicks on the link, and then goes to a sales page. All of this stuff, I think you should just literally just sort of like tear apart and maybe put on the sales page. But also on the sales page, don't feel too eager to just like cram everything in like one paragraph. Like take your time. Like the more you tell, the more you sell. So that's sort of what I think here. Also with the subject lines, I think they're trying to be a little too cute. I also think your opening line could be better. It feels a little cumbersome. What have I told you that you could take month-long relief from your lactose intolerance without having to take medicine daily? I could just ask, do you not want to worry about eating food or lactose filled food or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I think you can just be a lot more, I won't say succinct, but just a lot more clear and conversational, right? Like, is this how you would you talk like this to someone?
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't say a sentence like this. Like if I'm like, hey Rod, what have I told you could have month-long relief from your lactose intolerance without having to take medicine daily?
Yeah.
You'd be like, Luke, what the fuck?
Yeah. You would say like, imagine Rod never having to take a pill for your lactose intolerance. Imagine not having to take daily medicine for your lactose intolerance. Like that's how you would say it, right?
Rod, like, do you want to stop worrying about lactose as well? Like, you're like, hell yeah, dude. Like, let's make it a lot more conversational there, I think.
Yeah.
And, like,
does your partner resent you because you fart in your sleep?
Yeah. No, because they're sleep as well.
I absolutely agree with like what both of you are saying here about making this more clear. And also, the first line in your email needs to be some kind of hook, or like it needs to reel the person in. So it's got to be interesting.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like writing is just rewriting, right? So like just rewrite your first line like 10 times and like be super like critical of like what you're putting down there until you've got like a really good hook that just feels smooth, that flows, and that instantly commands attention.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have anything to add to what you guys said. I think you hit on all the major beats that I would have hit on. I will just follow up by, again, reiterating, like trying to do way too much and revealing too much and just like totally taking away elements of intrigue by revealing all of the things, right? Like you reveal what it is, lactose, you reveal. And it's funny now that I read this first line over again, like, what if I could tell you could have month-long relief without having to take medicine daily? So now I'm thinking like, wow, no more pills, right? And then it's like not quite, like you still got to take pills. You got to take them every day, 7 days straight. And it's actually not one pill, it's 2 pills a day. And now I'm like mad at you, right? Like you completely set me up to think that like I'm done with pills, you know, and or whatever, like you got a new solution that's not pills, and then now you're like, actually, you know, I lied. So now I'm actually kind of upset about it. So, you know, to be constructive in this criticism, I think on the point, like, okay, totally hit on too many ideas. You violated rule of 1. So if you're going to try to slim this down, take, you know, kind of like one approach and still follow the Dick formula that we recommend and teach for emails.
Lindsay,
yeah.
Can you explain maybe for some people who don't know what the Dick formula is?
What is that?
What
sounds kind of interesting.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I know it is YouTube friendly content.
It is YouTube friendly. Yeah.
So, I always just say the DIC formula, like on stream.
Yeah, that's right. DIC formula. So it's an email formula that is taught in copy circles, kind of all around the copy circles that I frequent. It stands for disruption, intrigue, click, right? And so first line, immediately disrupt the person reading. They've got a million things going on in their lives. They happen, you know, they're hooked with your subject line, they click, and you have one opportunity with your first line to kind of disrupt and immediately grab their attention with a hook, right? Your first sentence. And then from there, you want to dimensionalize with intrigue, right? You do not want to reveal that it's this thing called lactose and here's how lactose works. And it's actually a probiotic, like we've heard about probiotics forever. Mm-hmm. And by the way, you know, then we're going to get into all the science about it. It's this thing, you know, is this enzyme? You actually even get into like what the name of it is. And now I'm like, you know, it's just a little bit too much context and you are taking away all of the intrigue because you're revealing all of it, right? And then ultimately, this is all about pushing people to a click. Every email, like when I read the background, the context for the critique, it feels to me like the copywriter is just trying to do a little bit too much like micromanaging of like, and too much like linear micromanaging of where the prospect is. Like maybe they opened it, maybe they didn't. This is targeting. Your whole goal is to like get the person to click, regardless of if they read it and then they didn't click and they just disregarded it. Now, like you tried one idea on the first email. Now you want to try another angle, another hook on this second email. And the whole purpose of these emails is to click, 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 click. You're not trying to convince somebody to buy on these emails. You want to send them to your copy, to your order form, to like in that, and let that do the work, right? Your whole goal here
qualify leads.
Click.
Like,
yeah, exactly. It's a way to you're trying to do too much here. So on that note, to be constructive, like I think it's fine that you reveal that it's actually this new probiotic that science discovered. Just don't give it a name, right? It's a new probiotic specifically designed to combat the nasty side effects. And I think it's cool that you actually like reveal a little bit about how it works, because that adds some credibility. Like, oh, maybe, they discovered this new scientific process to actually like, before the lactose invades the gut or whatever, it's like intercepting it or whatever. And then like get rid of the science jargon and just say, it's, ooh, who's that?
Nuke, copy that, member revealed.
Yeah.
No science jargon. That's how strongly he feels about that.
So how is this possible science? A recent discovery of a new bacteria located in the small intestine. Scientists have been calling it LPH. Helps to break down all of the lactose consumed before it can cause you misery. So now I'm like, ooh, LPH, like there's actually a name for it. And you're leaving out all of these like huge, big words. And actually, like, fortunately I do not suffer from lactose intolerance. I feel for those who do, but you're also kind of like, by revealing that it's a bacteria called Lactobacillus acidophilus, you're kind of like, people might be like, oh yeah, I'm already aware of that, want. But by shrouding it a little bit with this kind of like this LPH name, you give people the opportunity to be intrigued, right? And to click. So kind of don't reveal so much, as we've been saying, and shroud that science in a simple term to further that intrigue. And as the guy said, stick to one idea. That's one for you. Shorten and just push to the click. Yeah.
I'm gonna link a video in chat right now. We actually did an entire video on the DIC formula, and so if you guys want to learn more about that, you can click that. It's in chat right now. To end this one though, like on a high note, it is very clear that you did a ton of research, that you have lots of angles you've thought of for this, and so you are more than equipped to make this better. It really is just a matter of pulling back, trimming some stuff. And the good news is that the other angles that you kind of have, and those other elements, are things you can use. Just put them in different emails, because those are angles that you might want to explore in the future with people who don't buy into like this specific one. So, this isn't really problematic copy in so much as like it just needs to be sort of like dissected and then reconstructed in other places.
It's like a lot in sales, and in sales copywriting is just slowing down. It's not talking too much, not saying too much.
Simplifying,
what you just said, Lindsay, you can just say, hey, Lindsay, there's a new scientific breakthrough that lets you eat lactose again, right? And then just like imagine being able to eat cheese, drink milk, have a slice of pizza without any stomach cramps. Mm-hmm. Click here to read more about this new discovery and find out how you can benefit from blah, 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 right? And then just end it, and boom, you've got an intrigue-filled email that people are likely going to click on.
I would love to write an email that starts with like it's like a story. It's like John's wife threatened to divorce him because of his gas. Then this happened.
Oh, that'd be a good VSL though. It's like my wife was about to leave my home because I couldn't stop.
No, we should not laugh about this. This is a terrible condition that people live with, and yeah,
And divorce people over.
and divorce people over.
Yeah.
All right, next piece of copy.
Yeah.
Was that helpful, by the way? Please tell us in the chat if you're here still.
Yeah. And to follow up, last thing, I just skimmed this third email from Katie, and I don't think we should go into it too much, but like she's already throwing out another angle in there, which is talking about the founders of Bactos and like why they founded it. I think that's a cool angle to test, like to talk about that. But again, like the first line is, I've mentioned how Bactos can help you not only eat whatever you want, but also feel good while and after doing it. So like you're assuming that the reader is consuming this information linearly. And like you know, like I just sat down to, you know, expecting to get blasted by work emails, and I'm starting, you know, I open this email. I just mentioned how Bactos can, what is Bactos? You know, I didn't read that, the last two emails. What is that? So just go back to that formula, check the link if you have not read, if you have not watched the Copy That Dick video. And again, I think this is a great angle to test. But better
honestly,
first line.
Do you think that like she can take like 5 elements from like the previous email and just turn those into individual emails?
Yeah.
And I would almost say to put something like a backstory, just put that in the credibility section of the sales letter. Like, just like expect anyone to see your email to not have read your previous emails. They need to stand alone, and truthfully, they're just not going to care. Be like, I don't give a shit what your story is. Like, I'm here because my farts hurt, right? Like, I don't care. Like,
and then
I mean, like, but like, it comes down to that, you know, like.
I mean, unless you are and also, Katie, unless you are sending these emails exclusively to openers and people who have clicked, and you like, you know, for sure that they've opened the email, don't include offer information. My recommendation.
Yeah, that's something I saw.
Don't tell people there's a 60-day money back guarantee, 50% off your order. Use this code. People just don't like, they don't, especially if they're not opening it, they have. I don't think they know, right? So I would not include that information.
It's like if you study direct response sales letters, especially financial, you will notice that like it will take like half of the sales letter until people start talking about the offer. It will take maybe 30, 40 pages before they start even talking about the product and the offer. So if you realize that it takes such a long time to basically start the transition to the product sales, right? Like, why do it in an email? I mean, like we already said before, the email is just to get the click, and that's all that matters.
Evan in chat made a really good point that one thing that's really important to consider is that emails in your inbox are sorted from most recent to least recent. And so often it's the case that if someone is missing your emails, they're going to see your most recent one first and then read backwards to the other ones. And so writing them sequentially may actually backfire because if they missed 100%. Something previously, they're not going to see it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to the next one.
Let's do it.
This is, I think, was it Joe Bobo's copy? I'll read this one. So he says it's a sales email. The goal is to make securing a meeting a need, not a want. They're selling lead generation services with a tone of urgency, fear. He's provided a research document that I'm not going to open right now. The context is this is a potential client that he has, and this is a paid test for them with the goal of lead generation. It looks like the target audience is every single UK business owner. The client literally won't tell him anything outside of public-facing data, and he swears to karate kick the owner if he ever meets them. We will not reveal his identity so as not to compromise that relationship.
You go, though.
We've all experienced that feeling before. We relate. That is understandable. My condolences. So subject. Your business is in huge trouble. First name. UK businesses are starting to crumble. Profits are dying everywhere. Money is increasingly harder to get. If you haven't experienced this, you are rare. If you have, it's going to get worse. If there was a safe and secure way to survive this by getting more business than you can handle, would you take it? Would you save yourself? No risks and handled entirely by us to assure the guaranteed outcome of more money in your pockets? Of course you would. Just like Company 1, Company 2, and Company 3 did when they booked a meeting with us. And now they don't worry about profits. But time is of the essence because we don't have room for everyone. So make sure you get in touch here. Regards, signature. P.S. We can only take on 3 more clients. Once those slots are filled, they're gone. Don't miss out, as we don't know when we'll be able to take on clients again. It's now or never. Mic drop.
Wow. I can't say I've ever seen copy use urgency and a lead generation service copy use urgency and fear in this way.
It's interesting.
Okay. I'm going to start off. I'll start out with one point. Okay. Show, do not tell. This email opens with you attempting to convince me by telling me that UK businesses are starting to crumble. Profits are dying everywhere. Money is increasingly harder to get. Like, you're painting this very almost apocalyptic picture without giving any specifics. It immediately just makes me feel like you're just trying to scare me. Like, you're losing all credibility because you are just trying to scare me. And if you have, it's going to get worse. What's going to get worse? I'm not even convinced that what you're talking about. My business is great. Like, maybe I'm a business owner who's paying for lead generation services and it's going great. In fact, I want to hire more lead generation services, but now, like, you've just this doesn't speak to me. Right. And I'm potentially your best target. So anyway, first principle that I wanted to put out there is show, don't tell. I heard you guys kind of like chiming in. Did you have anything to say on that or anything else?
I have a super, super easy tip for this.
Okay.
To implement what Lindsay's talking about. So literally just that you can use this first headline you have, or not headline, this line, UK businesses are starting to crumble. So I Google search UK businesses struggling. You can click the news tab. Now you have a whole bunch of news articles where you can just like go and click, copy, like take a picture of the headline, and you can lead with, I bet you've seen the terrible news. Picture of the thing. It's credibility, and then you just move on into the next thing. You don't have to try to convince anyone because probably they have seen the news or they will believe you when you say that's news. Bam, done.
Yep. That's a very common technique we use in financial screenshots of news headlines. That's a great show of a tell.
I think also the first 4 paragraphs can be removed. I don't think they're, like you said, Lindsay, they're scaring the reader effectively, right? But to what end? Like, what is the reason? Like, why are we like, what's the goal of the fear here? Right? Like, the fear isn't really like doing anything. I think it just makes you unbelievable. Yeah. Honestly, just taking that point of like, is there a safe and secure way to get clients in this difficult economy? ? And then to go something like, we spoke with this company and they're struggling, but after working together with blah, 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 we are now generating 8 new leads a month and we're closing 2 more deals, despite that all our competitors are not making any money. Like, do you want this ? And then it's just like, reply to this email or click this link. Like, I feel it can be that simple.
Yeah. One last point on like that credibility thing at the beginning. I don't know where this comes from, but this is like a really good line about confidence, I think, where it's like confidence doesn't try to persuade. It just kind of exists. Like really confident people, you'll notice if you're around them, don't try to convince people all the time that they're super, super awesome. They just act in a way that conveys to people that they're confident, but they never actually have to literally say it. And so when you make a claim in your copy, a lot of times not trying to explain it will actually be more convincing as like setting it up as just like a fact of the matter than saying the claim and then being like, okay, here's 15,000 citations. Because if you're citing it, then there's this sort of implicit understanding that it's something that could be contested. That's why you're kind of putting the evidence there.
I once got a really good piece of writing advice, which I got from, I think, someone who wrote at Agora. At least that's where I read like an article or a blog post by this person, and they said like, pretend like you just have a stick and all you can do is point. That's it. Like, don't add your own opinion. Don't try to convince. Just point at things that fascinate and intrigue. And like, that's a really good way to tell. Like, rather than making, like, for example, here, UK businesses are starting to crumble. They either know this already, or they're just going to be like, where's the proof? Like, where are you seeing this? Like, profits are dying everywhere. I'm like, what does that mean? Does that mean I'm not making money? Does that mean my competitors are not making money? Does that mean other sectors are not making money? It's extremely broad in general. And I think like if you were to just point at some specifics, like the headline that you showed, Rod, like, did you know that 1 in 3 businesses are not making enough sales to pay the bills, right? That could be a disrupting stinger, right? Like it could be your first sentence. And then to go into the solution or even to expand on that particular issue, like could make this a lot stronger. Like just pick one thing, make it specific, expand on it, show some credibility, show some intrigue, and then ask for the click.
Yeah.
I kind of like this idea of like, it's going in a little bit of a different direction on the fear urgency thing, but like, in like such and such credible organization, you know, just released information. That's basically like, this is your show for how UK businesses are starting to crumble, right? But it's like, you know, X% of businesses like are expecting to basically shut their doors, you know, within 6 months time or something like that. And then I like this angle of like, while businesses across the UK are like cutting cost, like, you know, firing staff, everybody's like, you know, battering down, getting ready to, there's cutting costs and all of that. Like the one cost that that successful businesses are not cutting is lead generation services, and how like there are a certain niche group of businesses that are born from recessions, from hard times, that and like you call the business owner to that opportunity to like, now is the time that you should be investing in marketing, lead gen services. Like now is when you need an influx of business, and this is your opportunity to book an appointment with us, you know, so on and so forth.
I thought like a similar angle, like just being like, you know, 1 in 3 businesses in the UK is not getting enough business. This is your chance to scoop up the unsatisfied clientele of your competition.
Yeah,
right?
I like that. Yeah.
Like you turn it into an opportunity. Like, yes, there's this awful thing going on. Like people are not doing well because like your reader's not going to admit to you anyway that they're not doing well because they don't know you. It's like, who the fuck are you? Like, I'm not going to tell you that I'm not doing good. Right. Like, but if you like turn it around and if you say,
you
like,
call them to action, like, be the business among the competition to like spot the opportunity for what it is. Right.
Yeah. Like scoop up scoop up the clientele of your competition and grow as a company. And then you can say, be one of the businesses that like skyrockets in a recession because we all know they exist. Right. And then say something like book a meeting here or reply or whatever, like something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the call to action, if this scarcity is real, like you can really take on 3 more clients, that, things are getting booked up. Great. If it's not, like, I don't know, I would not.
If it's real, like make it more specific. Just say like, we're currently talking with 3 companies working in these sectors. They're about to start with us or blah, blah, blah. Because of that, we've only got 1, 2, or 3 or however many spots left where we only have a limited amount of capacity available still. Like
Mhm.
if you're gonna have that scarcity, like
Yeah.
expand on it and show that it's real and
Mhm.
not just claim, right?
Yeah.
That's another thing I noticed in this email. It's like I see a lot of copywriting and selling principles, but like they sort of like feel thrown out there like spaghetti on the wall, right?
Mhm.
Like you don't have to use every principle in one email. You can just use one very well, and it might actually be better than using them all at once.
Yep.
Because remember, the thing is, you're still trying to drive that click. You don't have to persuade everything in this email. Because especially with services like this, you're doing most of your selling ideally like on a booked call. So you just have to get the person to sign up for the call and then let your sales rep do the actual selling part.
You can also just take that part out and do it as a follow-up email. Like say like the fourth email, you're just like, hey Joe, I've only got 3 spots left. Like I'm talking to businesses right now.
Yeah.
Contact me now or this opportunity is gonna you're gonna miss it, right? It's gonna walk you back.
Yep.
And that's especially useful too, because you don't even need people to have opened the emails then. If they've just happened to see that you've sent them a bunch of emails and then they get one there, it's like, look, I sent you a ton of emails. I have people responding. And because you've hesitated this long, you're about to miss out. And I won't be able to help you at that point.
Yeah.
If you want to use social proof, just like company 1, company 2, company 3 did, a good show of that that I often like to use, that we like to use, take a screenshot of a text, of an email, and include that. And maybe the email says like, hey, yeah, this sounds great. Let's do like, when can we start or whatever, right? And then you screenshot that, you kind of blur out the client.
Like that's also a thing, like convince your client to focus on one niche. Because if you're like, for example, in those news items, I sell pubs, right? Like if you're doing this cold outreach to pubs, and then if you have one pub reply, you can literally say in that follow-up email, like, hey, I know you own a pub. I'm literally talking to another pub owner right now who's about to use this strategy. Like, are you gonna like do it as well, or what are you doing with your business, right? Like, what are you doing anyway? Like, do you know what you're doing?
Yeah.
Like it adds urgency even further,
I think this is one of the parts where it's hard because Joe is not given any information about like the specific sectors in which he's going to be working. And so like, we're talking at a very like granular level of sophistication because like, if you're marketing to pub owners, you can say those claims, but like if you're writing a generic email,
you can't.
It's kind of, it's hard. However, one thing you can do is you can just pick a random business or a random like segment of businesses, B2B snack suppliers or whatever, write it for that. And then when you submit it, say, this is a very specific email for the specific demographic. This is what I'm writing in mind, just to show that you can write at that level of depth. And then like, if they're like, oh, I want something more generic, you can be like, 1, fuck you. But 2, okay, sure, I'll make it less convincing and less persuasive because you want to write really bad emails. Just one thing in chat. Abdul, we actually have a long line of people already, so we can't just throw you in the loop, unfortunately. So I'm sorry.
Next time. A final point on writing this PS, there's like 4 cliches in here. Don't use cliches. Once these stuff are gone, they're filled out. Don't miss out. It's now or never. Do not use cliches. Find another way to say it. It's weak writing. It's lazy writing.
Like, don't generalize. It's just so weak. It's just like it's like a wet sandwich. Nobody likes that.
Yeah, it's just lazy.
Oh God, yeah,
Okay, so I think we got some good tips on this one. We talked about show, don't tell. We talked about the principle of specificity. We talked about how to better use social proof. We talked about some general writing tips. Anything else to sum up?
I think that's it. I think one thing I'll say on cliches, just real quick, a good sort of litmus test for cliches is like think about how it would feel in that to be in that person's situation and hear a cliche. So like a really good example of this is like, imagine like this is terrible, but like imagine like a family member dies or something, and someone like one of your really close friends walks up to you and is like, hopes and prayers with you, which is like a really cheesy, generic social media sort of thing you say to people who you don't really know, but like is sort of touted as like you can say this and it's like, enough. It would feel really shitty in that moment to get really generic cliche feedback from that person, because you would hope that they would know you better and that they would understand that like in that moment, hearing that specific thing is not very useful. And so if you are speaking to businesses that are like actually struggling, actually worrying about like increasing their sales and stuff like that, and that's a pain point for them, you don't want to give them cliche advice or talk about their stuff in that sort of like tongue-in-cheek manner, because that's a real pain that they're going through, and they're going to resent that like you don't understand that.
It's also like it's just the first shallow layer of creativity. It's like until you learn that like cliches and just like your instinctual clever joke is actually just shitty. Like until like sorry to say, but like until you learn this and until you emotionally accept it, and like Rod, you said, like put yourself in the shoes of someone else hearing that, like until you've like gone through that paradigm shift, right? Like only then you're gonna be like, yeah, like I just said the most uncreative, like lazy response to someone who is genuinely suffering, right? It's like you're just like, you've got a problem, and then you've got this clever smart ass trying to like throw you a cliche or like a clever line. You're just gonna close that email. You're gonna say fuck you. It's just it just doesn't work.
Yeah, which is not even to say that it's easy to come up with something original, but like you should put some time and energy into it, because it's worth it, because they have a real problem. Let's we get to
it's
move
like
on?
How I would say this, like if you have a serious conversation with someone, you're not gonna make jokes, right? Like if you have a serious like heart to heart, you're not just gonna like make a clever joke. It's just inappropriate. That's what I'll have to say, and that's it.
Yep.
Okay. Next one. Cold email sequence. Luke, do you want to read this one? If not, I can.
Sure. Okay, so this is a cold email sequence. Okay, based on my cold email masterclass. Very nice. So if I'm roasting this, I'm basically roasting target audience, solver as a service executives who don't have their content strategy optimized. So I'm guessing this is going to be some sort of SEO offer. We're offering to do content marketing to improve long-term cost per acquisition. Okay. Objective, get a reply. All right. Well, let's scroll down. Let's take a look.
Oh, sorry. Read off my thing.
Okay. Offer ideas. Let's see. Okay. So I'm guessing this is going to be a client you're not working with yet, or I'm not sure. Anyway, subject line 2. So I'm assuming you've already wrote a couple one. The standard quick question and name. It just works. How you then execute depends on how you then execute, I guess. Hey, Sam, I was just looking to find a new BIM tool for a friend of mine, and I found her Cole. I love how easy it is to make complex shapes. After browsing your Twitter and checking out your website, I wanted to reach out because I got a couple ideas you could benefit from. I specialize in dramatically increasing customer acquisition for SaaS startups at near zero cost per acquisition. Recently, I helped the ScaleUp's roadmap team with a pre-launch campaign for their new course. We're 3 weeks in and are looking at 500 plus new business owners who are excited to get their hands on it. I believe I can get you similar results at our Cole. I've already got a whole campaign thought out I'd like to show you. Mind if I share it with you?
Okay. Do we want to stop with that one, or do we want to?
I'd say we just start with the first. I mean, the first is the most important in any cold email sequence. So, what do you guys think? First reactions.
I am not a big cold email person, so I'm very curious to hear what you guys think of it. This feels fine to me. I wouldn't be offended. I wouldn't be surprised if someone opened it. I think it does the correct thing of like, okay, you go in, you compliment the person, very specific, personal to them compliment. This is why you're reaching out because you saw their thing, and like, oh, it just so happens that I do this thing that you need. Here's these like really big results, and then the ask. I feel like they followed the formula pretty well. It doesn't like blow my skirt up though.
I think one big improvement here is if you just focused on improving that first line a little bit, like try to like make that stronger. They call it a stinger for the reason because it's supposed to sting. I think they're like, hey Sam, I was looking to find a new BIM tool for a friend of mine. I found Arcole. I love how easy it is to make complex shapes. I think that could be more specific or more disrupting or more of the hook. That's one thing I'm seeing here. After browsing your Twitter and checking your website, I want to reach out because I got a couple of ideas you could benefit from. I think that's good. I do think you can sort of shorten the descriptive language here a little bit. You're talking a lot about what you're doing, browsing on Twitter, checking out your website, wanting to reach out. Maybe just cut to the point and just say, I got a couple ideas.
I got a couple ideas. Yep.
I specialize in dramatically increasing customer acquisition for SaaS startups at near zero cost per acquisition. I think it's okay. Recently, I helped the scaled roadmap team with a pre-launch campaign for their new course. We're 3 weeks in and are looking at 500 plus new business owners who are excited to get their hands on it. I think this could be really good. I feel you've got good points buried in here, but they're not really presented in the best way they could, if that makes sense. Because like you've got a good credibility point here. This is basically your case study.
Yep.
Like maybe like make this more conversational. Just try to see here how this could be improved. You could just say like, right now I'm working with Scale Up's roadmap team. We're 3 weeks in, and we've already got 500 plus new business owners who want to purchase our product. I think if you were to say something like that, just like as one sentence, it could already be stronger.
Yeah. Like I think the phrase "who are excited to get their hands on it" is like I don't know if I would say that.
Yeah, it feels a bit vague, right? Like maybe
Also,
just say we're 3 weeks in and are looking at 500 plus new qualified leads or something, right? Or like deals or something like that. I also feel the last or the 2 paragraphs underneath, I believe I can get you some results, and I've already got a whole campaign thought out. I think that could be more punchy as well. But I think most of this is just punch ups. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, this one's from Rex, so he knows what he's doing, sort of. But also, I feel like we should have been meaner.
Well, it's always like whenever what's going on? Whenever you whenever we see these, it's always like, well, let's start at the value level. Like, is this actually a good direction or a good angle? Then like, are things structured well? Or should things be removed? And then it's like line edits, and I'm just nitpicking line edits right now, which means that you're actually doing good. I don't need to do the line edits for you. Just spent more time crafting this out. Just rewrite. Be very critical of yourself and what you've put here, and just try to improve, rewrite, edit until you've got a really good email. I think this could be. I think this would go from like B to A. That's how I'm seeing this.
Yeah.
So I don't have anything to add to the first email. I'm just browsing the subsequent emails. I get a lot of emails like this because just through the other businesses that I'm involved with, I'm approached by a lot of marketers who are cold emailing me, who are like, they spot an opportunity to help me, and they want to set up a meeting to discuss further. And then then I get these follow-up emails like, hey, Lindsay, just bumping this up so it's not lost in the thread of emails. And then again, hey Sam, it looks like you haven't had the time to get back to the marketing idea email that I sent you a couple of days ago, so I'm just going to follow up. A lot of times it's not that the business owner doesn't need your services or doesn't want to talk to you. It's just that like it's it's just so obvious that you're reaching out to schedule a conversation, to have, to then get pitched, right? Like you're asking me to do something I generally just am getting all of the time, right? Like you are writing me about that marketing idea. So now I've got to go through and I've got to think about, okay, what's this marketing idea? Like, what's this guy want to do? Okay. So he's going to talk to me basically about marketing. I'm like, I just got like so many things to do. So I'm just going to, get back to it. I'll just look at another time.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what you have to overcome. Like assume that this guy is getting pitched all the time, similar services. And so like, how do you overcome that? Right. Like,
I think there's this sales guy that's pretty well known. He's got a couple of books who says like you should be asking questions that make your prospect think, how do you know this?
Yes.
How do you know how to ask this? Right? Like what's going on here? Like if you can do that, it's basically the disrupt factor of the DIC formula, right? Like the more you can disrupt, the more action you can create. I would also recommend, like you said it in the goal, try to get the reply. If you say, can you take more users at our goal, or I like to send over sometimes to chat, these all point to your goal, your target being a meeting. But you were saying before that your goal is to get a reply. If you want to get a reply, have a better question, have better intrigue and shroud some stuff that you've got in here and really make them wonder, like, okay, what's going on in here? You're saying stuff that interests me. Yep. You've got a little bit of proof and you've got a little bit of credibility. And now you're asking me, like, you've basically like whet my appetite enough that I want to like go and see what you're all about. So if your goal is to get a reply, don't actually
push for the meeting.
Exactly.
The marketing meeting. Absolutely. Just go for the reply. And in the first email, I don't know the best way I'm not familiar with like this niche. So I apologize. But like this idea, like I found the BIM tool for a friend. I was looking for a new BIM tool. I love Arcle. I love how easy it is to make complex shapes. But is there something like, to Luke's point about like asking questions and making the prospect think like, well, how do they know this? Like, can you point to a flaw in it? Can you, I don't know how best to do that, but I was thinking maybe that could be the first angle for the first email. But I think you nailed it, Luke. I don't have anything to add further.
I think this is something I struggle with because when someone starts to learn how to do cold outreach, it's like, okay, here's some very basic stuff. Okay, here's a template. Okay, the level at which Rick Rex is writing at right here is like, okay, there's a template. You're like finding information. You're coming up with creative stuff. You're clearly putting some time and energy into this. And now we're left with this thing that you can kind of punch up. But at the end of the day, the audience sophistication is generally going to be high enough that people are going to know what they're reading. And so in order to like get to that next level of like Giga Chad cold email marketer, you kind of have to say, fuck cold emailing. And we're just like, what is the best way to do outreach? And so like, at this point, like one thing you could do if you just want the reply, scrap this entire thing, go find the person on social media, see the kind of stuff they're talking about, come up with some random question for them, just email them that question. Like, hey, I was browsing this thing. I saw you made a post about this. I'm in whatever niche. Can you tell me more about this idea? Or can you tell me about whatever, just to get the reply? And at the point at which you get the reply, maybe you start a conversation that then leads into whatever. I'm reminded of a story that Alex tells all the time where he went to some online like webinar conference thing that was hosted by some guy, and he emailed the guy a question. They started a long conversation where Alex pitched this guy nothing, and the guy ended up asking, what niche are you in? Like, what are you doing? What kind of results are you seeing? And that turned into this person hiring Alex to do some like really high level work for their company. Because it starts with, hey, we were in the same social space. We have the same shared context. You are displaying a genuine interest. I'm recognizing your expertise, yada, yada, yada. Alex didn't even have to pitch because all of the stuff that you need to hire someone then gets like borne out in that conversation first.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's really high effort. You can't always do that. But like, if we're thinking about what are like truly effective cold email or like cold pitching strategies at a point in time at which like every even like moderate sized business owner is receiving these kinds of emails or these kinds of approaches, like it might serve us to kind of get outside of the box and think about like, okay, well, like how do you really
100%.
connect with somebody first?
Yes.
Yeah, also like cold email, or at least the structure you see here, obviously it works. It's a system that you can use, but it's also like the first stepping stone towards more advanced selling, right? One thing that I like to tell people is like, if you really want to do good sales and like good acquisition, is to really just fall in love with a problem, right? Like really understand a problem that these business owners are having extremely well. For example, if you're selling content marketing, like a very good or like a really good disruptor could be to say something like, hey, Sam, I've been analyzing your website and your blogs, and I noticed that these blogs did extremely well. And I'd love to tell you why they're doing so well if you don't know already, because I think you're sitting on an untapped opportunity that could bring you many, many more leads. Don't mean to bother you or pitch you, but let's talk. Rex, right? Like if the more you can also be conversational, or I mean, I guess you could also give a case study if you like, but the more conversational you can be and the more specific about specific problems you can be, like about the problem that they're facing, because you know the problem well, the higher your chances of success. I can give you an example. I'm in the process of doing acquisition for a new offer that I'm building, which is for healthcare companies. In there, lots of healthcare organizations really struggle with social innovation, especially in technology. So products just get built, but they don't actually get successful adaptation. I spoke with a director that directs for a healthcare organization, and I talked about this, and she was extremely impressed that I knew in detail and in depth what this problem was about and what's going wrong with new technological innovations for healthcare. And now I'm literally in negotiations with a very large healthcare organization for a potential deal that I'm going to be doing with them. And that's just because I took the time to really understand the problem. Of course, like small project, that's going to be harder. But if you've got big projects, or if you're really selling an offer that you're the owner of, you can really, really make a lot of money and get a lot of success by knowing the problem very thoroughly.
Great.
Yes, because of the books I've read about that niche. Yes. To this.
All right. We good to move on?
I think so.
Next one is Dermazen post-purchase flow. Oh, interesting. I don't think I've gotten one of these yet.
No.
Do you want to take this one, Lindsay?
Yeah, Dermazen. Okay. Give me all of the hard words. Okay. Dermazen is a skincare brand that specifically treats seborrheic dermatitis, a fungal skin condition that causes scaly patches and red skin, mainly on the scalp, but also on the face, neck, upper chest, and back. Unlike big-name brands, Dermazen is formulated with holistic ingredients to disrupt the biofilm layer caused by seborrheic dermatitis before soothing the affected skin. Many other solutions use lipid-based oils that feed the fungus and often make the symptoms of seborrheic dermatitis worse.
Wow.
Coming out here crushing that industry. The founder suffers from this condition, and part of their brand identity is identifying with their prospects' customers. Like many other holistic and skincare brands, Dermazen identifies with the innocent archetype. Archetype traits, simplicity,
innocent medicine.
motto, the glass is half full, optimistic, moral, honest, soft. Okay, is Dermazen customer dealing with seborrheic dermatitis who recently purchased one of the products. Help us cultivate the ideal peaceful skin journey by letting us know if you're concerned about your hair thinning. We'll send you wisdom to reverse and prevent the hair loss process. Click either option so we can segment you within our list. Okay, problem aware. Email number 2, segment customers worried about seborrheic dermatitis caused by hair loss. Okay. Subject, quick question. Alternative subject, there's something we'd like to ask. Preview, help us cultivate the ideal peaceful skin journey for you. Do you sometimes worry about thinning hair? Hair loss is a side effect of seborrheic dermatitis, but we're here to help. All right, this is going to have a hair loss image from the blog with a button, hair loss worries me, with another button, no, it doesn't. Thinning hair can be a side effect of Malassezia overgrowth. I don't know if I said that
Big
right.
words.
Sorry if I butchered it.
Big
But
words.
it doesn't have to affect you. With the right treatment and care, it can usually be prevented and reversed. And reversed. We share wisdom and remedies to help you prevent and reverse seborrheic dermatitis caused by hair loss. Would you like our help? And then a button. Yes. Send us hair loss wisdom, or no thanks. Help me achieve other goals. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
It was actually a quick question. I appreciated that.
Yeah, it was a quick
Yeah. That's actually like
Well done.
a survey after a quick question headline. I don't think I've seen it before. It's always, hey, do you want to hop in a meeting?
I mean, we're laughing, but this is actually like really, really good because if like your stated goal is to segment people,
Yeah.
and so now you've done the thing that will segment people really efficiently. Like, good job, legitimately.
I just hope that people don't categorize that into this is going to be a pitch, because like I don't know, like I get lots of quick questions. Basically, let's just keep it at that. Many quick questions.
Rex just asked one in chat. And the answer to your question, Rex, is yes. But one thing you can do to avoid that here is like, don't have the subject line be quick question, have it be something else that is more relevant to like what it is.
Yeah.
It could be something along the lines of like, you know, thanks for buying the product. We just want to make sure you have everything you need. Or, you know, if this other thing concerns you, then ... You know, just make it relevant in a way that isn't salesy. Because the quick questions
you want to have more
like
consistency. Yeah, some more consistency with what's in the body, I guess. Maybe even just say like that this is a survey, or like we value your opinion or your thoughts, because you want to capture the people who respond to that type of messaging, right? I'm someone who never opens survey emails, but I'm sure there are. So if I were to write one, I would try to get those people to open.
I think that this copywriter can do some more work around spelling out the benefits to me, basically opting in or raising my hand as somebody who pursued this product because of hair loss concerns, basically, right? As a result of seborrheic dermatitis. So if you want to speak to me specifically about hair loss, rather than saying we share wisdom and remedies to help prevent and reverse seborrheic dermatitis caused by hair loss. Maybe I had that confused. Anyway, put some bullets here. Like what sort of wisdom and remedies can I expect to get if you guys are going to share them with me by raising my hand and saying, yes, I want this I want the specific information, right? If I don't really know like what's to expect, I'm just gonna, you know.
Do these people also know what Malassezia is, or like that's something I'm wondering? Like, if that's it is a big word, but if that's a big word to the audience as well, then how it is placed in the email right now, it's almost like it's an intrigue factor.
It is an intrigue. Yeah. Like, did you know that thinning hair could be a side effect of this thing? Right. And, in our SD hair loss newsletter or whatever that we send people specifically concerned with hair loss, we address this. Obviously, we would say this in a lot shorter with some shorter language. Like we address this and we give you a tool for reducing the Malassezia on your scalp or whatever.
Yeah, and then you can even say like we've created a free newsletter because the founder of our company suffers from SD.
Yeah.
And we're giving free tips.
Yeah.
And then a bullet. Did you know Malassezia overgrowth can cause hair loss, this remedy fixes it instantly, right? Like you can just go for your standard bullet points here, and then you could say something. Then you could have your CTA say something like, would you like our help? Yes, sign me up, or no, I don't want to have remedies that help me prevent hair loss. Right? Like,
yeah, no, I think
do something like that.
This is great. Like the objective is to make it known to the prospect that that you have stuff specifically for hair loss, and use the basic copywriting. Like, don't forget that stuff, right? Like bullets, specificity, all of that could be used here.
Because like the first thing I read when I see this is like thinning hair can be a side effect of malassezia, right? I'm like, do I have this? Like, like, does this apply to me?
Yeah.
Like, it's basically right now it functions as an intrigue, but then it's like it doesn't have to affect you, and I'm like, what doesn't have to affect me, right? I'm like, I don't even know if I have it right now. I don't know if I need to be worried about this because I'm not informed, right? So that makes me think, all right, well, potentially I want to be informed. So then it would be really great to sort of make the transition into, we give those free tips, right? We've got this newsletter and we send out information and give you, like we educate you or we inform you about all these things that could apply to you. So you can check if they apply to you and you can fix them with the remedies that we suggest. Not in that exact way, but.
Yeah. I think a good baseline, or sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think a good baseline question to always have in the back of your head is that the person who's on the receiving end of this is going to always be asking, what's going to happen if I click yes? And not just like in the literal, am I going to start receiving a newsletter? Is it going to be a product? Or are there going to be pitches? But also, what's going to happen to me if I click this list? Are all of my reliefs going to be assuaged? Are you going to fix my balding? How is my life going to get different? Obviously, in a short opt-in email like this, you don't need to really go into depth about all those things, but starting to tease some of those ideas and address the person behind the issue is a really good strategy for cultivating the kind of interest that will get someone towards that yes.
I have the same, like, for example, like here, send hair loss wisdom. What's a hair loss wisdom, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what people read is like, what does this mean, right? If you can scroll up as well in the preview text, it says like peaceful something, like it's where's the
peaceful skin journey,
like help us cultivate the ideal peaceful skin journey. I'm like, what is a peaceful skin journey? Is that to get recovery as I would like it to have, to get a soothing recovery? Does that mean a fast recovery? Like, what is an ideal peaceful skin journey? Like, that doesn't tell me anything. Like, this is a combination of words that I get, associations from, but I can't tell. I can't piece together what this would mean, like concrete or, like as the intention of the message here. So, yeah.
And I hope that's how assuage is pronounced. That's how I pronounce this my entire life. I've made a horrible mistake.
That's how I pronounce it. So,
assuaged.
Ooh,
sounds like a hair product.
Yeah.
One other thing I'll mention about this, that's good that we have not talked about yet, but that is very, very important, is that all of the copy always exists in a context, and so we've made some points about, the malassezia. Like, do people know what that is? Do people identify with the founder's story? Have they heard about that yet? Would that be a good angle? These are all questions that you should be able to answer as the copywriter, because you know what has come up before this. And so if you have sent out emails previously or have blog posts or other sorts of assets relating to that founder story, and those have worked well, that could be a good thing to utilize in this email also, because that has resonated before. And so just keep those things in mind and use those to your advantage.
I like to think that we just sort of like point out what you can look at and further think about, rather than, we're not laying out dogma that you just have to follow. Like, praise the copywriting principles. No, just what we notice, maybe think about them, or maybe just ignore them. Up to you.
Can we move on to email 4 very quickly? Because I just want to make a very
Yes.
quick point. We don't have to stay on it too long because I know we still have some stuff to get through. But okay, so email number 4 is about educating the prospect who bought Dermazen about the importance of cleansing and to introduce a cleanser specifically formulated for people with SD. Subject, this is important for peaceful skin. And then there's some alternative subjects there. Hero headline, what's the secret to achieving peaceful skin? Image of someone washing their face, body. Okay. For some, the Seborrheic serum alone is all we need to enjoy calm, healthy skin. For others, daily stress, inflammatory foods, and our unique genetic makeup may require extra support. Right now, one of these likely describes you. You're seeing improvements with Dermazen, but maybe experiencing minor symptoms. Ooh. Is it? Okay. Or you may have already reached your skin goals, but know your skin can be unpredictable, so you aren't sure how long the results will last. In either case, daily cleansing becomes essential to continuing seeing improvements and preventing unwanted flare-ups. When choosing a cleanser, it's important to carefully review its ingredients and list and ensure it doesn't contain any ingredients that feed the Malassezia fungus. Most big name brand cleaners aren't formulated for those of us with seborrheic dermatitis and contain oils like coconut oil that fuel fungal growth. The purifying facial cleanser was designed with your peaceful skin goals in mind and formulated with Malassezia safe holistic ingredients. It contains soothing and moisturizing ingredients like papaya fruit, willow bark, and concentrated aloe that remove oil and dirt without fueling the Malassezia fungus. If you're still experiencing the minor symptoms of seborrheic dermatitis or want another layer of safety between you and the moody skin, try our purifying facial cleanser. Okay, I hope you guys have sensed in me reading this how difficult it is to me for me to actually like verbalize all of these very long sentences, these big words. So basic writing tip, like go through line by line, cut as much as possible, shorten and simplify as much as possible. The classic Stephen King line, don't do a policeman in an automobile, or a cop in a car will do, right? But that is not the main point that I wanted to make about this. And my brain was kind of spinning because there was like more stuff kind of flying at me as I was reading this. But I think that there's just like way too much going on at the front of this email. You're trying to speak to like 2 potential different prospects. And like the biggest thing, if somebody bought this product, why are you now then coming back and being like, oops, like, sorry about that. Like we kind of knew maybe it wasn't going to work for you. Sorry, but you bought it anyway. I would just kill that, obviously.
Yeah.
And like Luke's point, if this Malassezia fungus thing is a huge intrigue element, which now I'm sensing like this is like, go for that. Like, did you know that you could be using a skincare product that's actually feeding the fungus, like feeding your hair loss, right? Like most people are not aware that like coconut oil, for instance, actually feeds this fungus that's causing you to lose more hair. So like use that point in this email. And again, follow the classic Dick formula, which we reviewed at the beginning of this session, and go with that for this email. And then talk about this facial cleanser that was specifically designed to not feed this fungus, right? Anything else, guys?
They're saying like that I know some copywriters say, which is like, if you're educating, you're not selling. Which unfortunately is the truth. Like the more you educate, the less you're selling. This kind of reads like an editorial to me, a complex one at that. If you want to turn this into like more of a sales email or a sales post-purchase flow, which I think you would, then I would really follow Lindsey her advice and use that thing as your intrigue, because it's super fascinating, right? It's like, if you're suffering from SD, you might also have this fungus. Yes, gross, but you need to know about it because it's thinning your hair. It's very likely to thin your hair, and the food you eat has an effect. Well, what if you could use this facial cleanser that removes fungus or something, whatever it
Yeah.
does, right? Like,
Yep.
like you can just take away so much here and bring out the most powerful points. And sort of the waste that you cut away, just look if there's anything worth salvaging in there, and then use that for another email.
This, like, I admit, like, I'm like a holistic medical person, and like I am currently trying to solve my son's eczema problem, which he's suffered from, unfortunately, for like 3 years. But like anytime somebody sends me something about eczema, that's like, did you know that something as simple as a fungus overgrowth could be causing your son's eczema? I'm immediately like, because it's already speaking to me as somebody who believes that there's some like a natural process going on that it just needs a quick fix to kind of overcome the symptoms. You're already speaking to me about, like, in the language that I understand. You're speaking to a presumption that I have, that there's something internal happening, that there's something on my body, like it's not genetic. My body should be able, and so you don't have to do much more than that. Like, just tell me something I already believe, like that there's potentially a fungus that's causing your hair loss, and then tell me that there's a product that was designed without that thing. And then, like, I'm like, okay, I need to try it, right? Like, people who suffer from this stuff were willing to try. They've tried so many products. They've tried so many things. It could be just as simple as finding a, like little scientific natural process thing like that, and then dimensionalizing that for them, and then pointing to your product, right? It could be that simple. It often
and
is.
Then you just gotta tell or talk about your product. It's just like you could have this overgrowth, and this product kills only the bacteria by the special blah blah blah, and it doesn't affect your skin in any other way. And the moment, like many people have seen, that the moment this bacteria is gone or in a natural balance again, the problem is basically gone, and you treated the root cause. Like, literally just the sales argument, and people will buy. Like, that's all it takes.
I do want to highlight that there is a little bit of delicacy there, because the first thing what I heard, Lindsay, when you started to say that was, because I used to struggle with eczema too, like around my eyes, was if I hear someone say something, someone say like, oh, it's just as simple as doing this one really easy to do thing. And I'm someone who's tried a whole bunch of things already. That can come across as condescending. I may be less likely to believe you. If it were that simple, I would have known about it. I would have done it. I would have whatever. And so they're like, that is definitely a very, very effective argument, but we do need to be conscientious of like the way in which we say that needs to make sure that we're being considerate of people's experiences up until that point.
Yeah. I mean, and that goes into, like, again, like, show, don't tell. Don't tell me that it's very easy, and it's because it's not. I've been dealing with 3 years. But if you do if you let the science speak for itself, or the process speak for itself, that it's not about saying that it's very simple. It is about showing that it's, that it is something like a.
It also demonstrates expertise, to show like, this is what you've overlooked, right? You can just open and disrupt with this new breakthrough, or this new discovery showed that this skin issue or this like hair thinning is caused by blah, blah, blah. And simply treating it helps lots of people. Like, that on its own is a USP and a disruptor that could get lots of people intrigued, I think.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think that we spent enough time on this one. Let's move to the next one.
Nice emo though. I think there's some really good lessons in that one.
It seems like an exciting opportunity. That's for sure.
Okay.
I'll
read this one. Let me check and see if there's any context real quick though. It's Marcos. It's called Copy.
We are. Where are we?
All right. There was no additional context with this one, so I will just read it, and we'll go from there. So, subject is, quote, "She writhes under her life," end quote. Hi, Ali. Love that quote from Little Dorrit on your profile. Are you a Dickens fan? Definitely am myself. Maybe this is a shared interest. Had to reach out as I've been signed up to your mailing list for a while. Seriously, yours is the best copy I've read in the travel industry. The G word subject line just screams out to be opened. I'm not even the slightest bit ashamed that I used your idea as inspiration for my own work. Watching your Instagram reels, it's really impressive what a busy life you lead. Being a mom of two, I've got an undisclosed number. It's too many digits. Working 2 jobs, managing a fitness regime, and finding time to walk Billy too. How do you find the time? Would love to know how many days you've checked off your calendar, by the way. It's great that Travel Far has implemented a 4-day week, but I was wondering, are there ever days you feel overwhelmed with everything you do? And whether there are times when you struggle to find time to join in the fun at Movie Addicts. Serious kudos. If not, send me straight to spam in that case. But if you ever wish there was a 25th hour in the day, would a freelance copywriter you could pass work to be helpful? Who you could trust to just get the work done to an impeccable standard before deadlines? Someone who lets you slide it from your to-do folder to the done and see what's on Comedy Central with wine, of course. And who shares a passion for the travel industry. I work with some pretty big clients, including Person. Notice the videos of you doing up your home too. And would love to have a virtual coffee chat to see if I can help you out. If this all sounds good, or if all this sounds good, book a slot via my Calendly, and I look forward to speaking with you. Kind regards, XXXXX.
I know I'm being pitched while reading this, but I can see that you've put a lot of work in personalizing to me, and I would appreciate that. The first thing that does jump out is that I would not make the meeting the CTA, but I would try to get a reply here. Because it, like, honestly, this reads like fan mail. And honestly, like, anyone who's going to receive fan mail like that is probably going to be like, oh, hey, I can appreciate that you've put in the work. Whether they would reply or not is obviously a different thing, but I would aim here for a reply rather than a meeting.
Okay. Let me, I'm going to be really honest.
Go ahead.
This is too much. This is too much about the kids, about the dog, about where they've been traveling.
Yeah.
It feels like you've been following them around everywhere. And like you're trying to use the fact that I know you better than your skin to pitch them on why you should be their ghost copywriter, which is not appropriate.
It reads more like fan mail.
Yeah, and I think it's all of us do this when we are looking to pitch someone online or wherever. We of course we do our homework, and so it's good that you've done this, but this is too much to show them. The reason you want to have done that homework is so that you can come up with an angle to approach them that feels authentic.
Absolutely.
That feels
someone
like
someone who runs a fitness regime, is a business owner, is not going to hire a fan to run
That's true.
their copywriting.
Yes.
They are going to hire
like,
a colleague, somebody who is better than them at what they do. That's what they want. They don't want somebody.
Yeah.
They don't want somebody who's like maybe they'll hire you for an assistant, but like they're not going to hire you for your copy skills. And especially if like this is the copy that you submit. It's just too overly gushy. It's too there's nothing in this that says I'm a copywriter, that is demonstrating I am a copywriter. It's just, all it is it's just too over the top, as Rod said. You need to approach this person as a colleague who has better skills than them that can help their business. That is what any business owner is interested in.
Also, the thing you can ask yourself is, what are you selling here? Like, what is the extent of the personalization, right? Like, what is the goal of personalizing? It's basically to show you've done your homework and that you understand the problems that they have. You have not demonstrated that you understand the problems you have. I think you could still get a reply with this. I think some people might just think, all right, well, what is this about? But like Lindsay, what you said, if you're trying to get high skilled work, you might just, Like they might just like ask, they might give you a second chance. Like, hey, what is this about? And if you then not prove yourself to be a good copywriter because you've not done that here, you're just not gonna get a gig. So I think honestly, the better choice here would just be to redo this and to focus more on what you're selling and what problem you're solving rather than showing that you understand them and that you
because this is like demonstrating like knowledge about them as a person, not them as a business. And you are trying to get into their business, not into their pants.
Yeah. Great point. This line at the end, I work with some pretty big clients, including XXXXX. Notice the videos of you doing up your home too. If you are someone who is skilled in this industry and can help this business and believe that you can add substantial value to this business, that needs to be upfront. That needs to be, and not after you've just like totally fanboyed all over this person. And like put yourself as like lead out with, as the guys have been saying, how you can help this business owner. If you want to,
it can work though. Like it can be good to just actually show that you're a genuine fan. Like there's no, like, I don't think there's an issue, not to this extent, to say like, and to genuinely show that you're a fan of someone's work, right? Yeah. Like, for example, someone comes to us and it's like, I've watched all your videos, like I've applied the principles and like, I've been able to build a career as a copywriter and I've been able to do this and that and do this and that. And then actually show that they are actually a good copywriter. And then to ask something like, hey, could I do any copywriting for you? I'd be like, hey, cool. Like this is someone who knows us. This is someone who knows our brand. And this is someone that could actually do something about it for us. But then the personalization leads to the credibility section and the problem section, right? Right now, it's just the personalization leads to more personalization, which leads to more personalization, which leads to me being like, what is this about? Like, I appreciate that you might know us. Or like, for example, if this was to copy that, you're like, I appreciate that you know what we do and like who we are.
That's important.
What is this about? Yeah. Right? I would just write like, what is this about? Right? Like what's going on here? Right? Like that's the most you would get from me.
Yep.
I think one thing you could do with this, like another part that I struggle with is that like the personal bits feel really disconnected from one another, not just from like the actual pitch itself. And so like you start with the quote and then you go to, some subject lines, travel industry copy, specific subject lines. Okay, now we're talking about your Instagram. Now we're talking about your kids and your job and your workout routine and now your dog. Okay, how much do you work? Okay, now your blog or your company or something. How often do you go to the movies? You must work a lot, but if you don't, or you need some time,
it's like any statement you make needs to have proof. So if you're gonna say you love some particular thing, then just like provide some additional context. Show that you can relate and that you don't say maybe this is a shared interest, but show that you have shared interests and that you have similarities. And then just say, leave it at that and not add 5 more personalization pieces and just make it about what you do and what you can offer them.
But not just the proof and the credibility, but also the cohesion. Because if this felt like it were one thing and not just like a bunch of like segments thrown on top of each other, it would read a lot better. And so one thing I think you could do is like, have the quote as a subject line. You come in, you say, hey, I love that quote from Little Dorrit on your profile. Then you say like, instead of, are you a Dickens fan? I really love the way in which that book used that quote or the character or something to describe really big philosophical point that only a true Dickens fan would understand. Like, not gonna lie, that when I was getting started in a career or whatever, or like in my life, this really, really helped me. Similarly, your stuff really, really helped me. I even swiped this line from you, yada, yada, yada. You've been a huge inspiration, like seeing you juggle, your family, your jobs, even your fitness stuff and a dog. really, really impressive. Sometimes I wonder how you even have time to do it all. It's great that you've like done all this, but like, if you ever have extra work, big fan, would love to take some of it off of you. Do you want to have a coffee chat? That is the same content, but just like tied together in a way that makes that lets the person kind of like understand logically where you're going with things.
Also, if you don't do that, most of these just read like empty statements, right? Like add some context. And then when you add context, you will also realize I'm writing context for 5 different points that I got from their Instagram feed. Maybe this is a little bit too much, right? Whereas if you just grab one, the quote that it's out of this book, talk a little bit more about the character who said it, or add another quote that you loved from the book as well, show that you can relate to them, like you said, Rod, and then go into this, what you can do for them. I think that would make this so much better. There's this saying, like, like if you've got weeds, talk about my weeds, not your weed killer, right? Like just talk about like my problem, talk about the things that bother me and help me get a solution. And I'm going to buy from you.
Yeah, but I wouldn't need, like, don't even spend too much time telling them, like, how much, telling them what a big fan you are. Then, like, I'm as you guys are
just
talking,
like 3 lines or something like that.
Yeah, as you guys are talking, I'm remembering, like, I'm remembering like 3 years ago, I pitched an influencer, just based on the fact that I loved her content and like it was about baby stuff. Like I'm sorry, do you guys hear screaming kids in the background?
It's really fitting for the point you're making though, so keep going.
Okay.
It's fine.
It's getting to be that time when mama needs to go attend. Okay, so it was actually like a mom influencer and I loved her stuff. And like she was doing the Instagram thing really, really well, but just really like there was no monetization arm to her brand. And I could see her like struggling, like trying to figure out how to actually monetize. And I just had so many ideas as I was consuming her content. And so like my pitch to her was like very simple. Like, hey, I loved this post about what you just did. Have you considered doing blah, 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 blah? Like I do this for a living. And like, I really think that I can add value to your business, and got a response, had a phone call, had subsequent meetings, like huge pitch deck. And then like, I ended up being too expensive. And she was like, we're not there yet, but we'll call you another time. So, but like, that's what you were going for. Like you want to get to that point, right? And it will be, my point in telling and saying this story is that it will be evident that you are a fan just by simply saying, hey, love this post about blah, blah, blah. Like I've been, and then the other day you did a similar one or whatever. Have you considered like this is what I do. And if you can do that, you are already demonstrating that you're a fan. You don't have to go on about, this clever, trying to be too clever with the pitch.
Sure.
And, like, speaking of that, like it's just trying too hard to be clever with what you are offering them. If you are offering them expert copy services as a travel niche copywriter, the way you don't want to say, if you ever wish that there was a 25th hour in the day, would a freelance copywriter help that you could pass work off to? Would that be helpful? Like, that's just confusing. Someone who lets you slide it from your to-do folder to the done and see what's on Comedy Central with Wine of Course. It's just confusing. I'm like, have to read those lines a couple times. Like, what is she trying to say here? Do they like, what do you want from me? So just trying a little bit too hard with being clever. I hope that helped.
Yeah,
I'm gonna mute myself now.
Lindsay just said, "Get to the fucking point."
Just get to the point. Sorry, I'm gonna mute the child screaming now.
It's fine. I can't hear it now. So
okay, good.
No, you're good.
Yeah, no.
I think like the personalization was a great point. Why do you personalize? To show relevancy.
To show relevancy.
Yeah.
And to your earlier point, Luke, like it is important if you're advertising your services as a copywriter, like copywriter who knows nothing about you and is cold pitching you versus copywriter who is a legitimate fan and has already done the work of digesting 2 years of your content and knows you it like, feels you, like I'm going to pay attention to the person who is already, who is obviously a follower and a fan and understands me.
It's like, that's actually such an advantage because like it basically,
It
like, you can leverage that and make it a USP.
Absolutely.
Just don't overdo it and like scare them off, right? Like,
Yeah.
because the best thing that can happen is that they're like, I appreciate that you're a fan. What is this about? And you basically got yourself a second try, or they're just like, screw this.
Yeah.
Like, nope. It's like,
Yeah.
leverage the fact that you're a fan. Don't make it a weakness.
All right, so here's a hypothetical for you two, and you guys in chat can answer this also. Would you rather hire a copywriter who knows nothing about you, or hire a copywriter who knows what the inside of your dresser looks like?
Someone who knows nothing about me.
There's so many other questions, but somebody who knows nothing.
Like too close. Wait.
No, but here's a hypothetical. Very skilled copywriter who knows nothing about you, or somebody who has followed your brand for 2 years, is totally invested in your skills, but is an amateur copywriter.
Very skilled copywriter for me.
You would go very skilled?
That's an interesting question. I think maybe it depends on where you are with your business. I would lean towards the very skilled copywriter as well, because the things that tend to help you convert are probably similar across niche, across brand, or they're more similar across niche and across brand than they are about like your specific brand. But if it's something like you're just looking to do engagement, and it's not about like hitting very specific like metrics, maybe that amateur person would be good enough to justify.
That's a good point.
The cost
What's the objective?
I feel like with a very skilled copywriter, I can very easily adjust and calibrate and just say, hey, these are the things I care about. This is our brand. This is what we like. This is our tone of voice. This is sort of the pain points we talk about. Like pitch me a lead and I'll tell you what I think is a no-go and what I think is great. And let's just like sort of like bounce off of each other from there and get a success.
I think this is actually a really interesting question, because it also depends on what your skill set is as a business owner. Because if you are, like most business owners and you're not a big marketer, that copywriter who doesn't know you but knows marketing is going to be a huge value add in a way that like someone who knows you but doesn't know marketing is just not going to be. But if you are like a really big marketing person and you're in a new niche or you're trying a new sort of thing, then bring someone on who like knows the space well but maybe isn't as big about marketing is like probably bigger. I mean, this happens to us too. Like Noah, our video editor, is not a marketing person. He's a video editing person, and his sort of expertise in like how to frame videos and how to set up shots and stuff has been immensely helpful to us in a way that bringing on another marketing person would not have been. And so, you should look for people who complement your skills.
Good point. Guys,
I think like taking on an amateur only works if you're looking to train a junior, like if you're looking to train a new copywriter. Otherwise, it's just because like it takes a couple of years for most copywriters to become profitable.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of like coming at it from the approach of like not a fully expert copywriter, but somebody who's, like an amateur copywriter.
Okay.
Anyway, guys, I have to get off.
All right.
Not on stream, please.
I'm
Jesus Christ, Rod.
I need to go because I've got people blowing up my phone and I have urgent.
You're all good.
Okay.
We only have 3 more, so we can handle it.
Thank you guys. I hope I contributed some value and I really appreciate it. Thanks to everybody who submitted and those of you who showed up. You guys make it super great. All right.
I'm sorry. Wait. Hold up 1 second. Can people tell her in the chat how much value she contributed? Because what that was even a question is the most ridiculous thing ever to me.
No, sorry. I appreciate it. All right. Bye, guys.
Yeah. Bye.
Thanks.
Hold up. Anyway, are you good for this one?
I got 15 more minutes. Then I'm
Okay. So
then I'm out of time.
that's fine. I can finish up the last like one or two by myself, but
Or we do a little speed run if you like.
we can do a speed run. If I don't
Right.
want to blaze through them if something really needs help, but you know, let's make it speedy.
Right.
So this one's titled 4 Pillars of Singing Sales Letter.
Okay.
I'll read this one. So the awareness level is problem aware. The person needs help with their singing, and they're 35% solution aware, which probably means that like they're aware that things exist to help them with that. Market sophistication.
Interesting proposition.
The percentage is very funny to me. A lot of the market are aware of a lot of YouTube videos on how to sing better, and a couple of singing programs that the YouTube vocal coach teaches. Target audience is almost anyone that wants to learn how to sing or learn how to sing better, no matter what age they are. And the product is the 4 Pillars of Singing program.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, it's a classic.
Here we go.
All right. They almost laughed when I got up on stage until I started to sing. Kelly was on stage of the America's Got Talent show, thinking she's blowing everyone's minds with her singing ability, but she bombed big time. People could almost see it coming, and they silently booed her as a poser. She thought she could learn how to sing great by watching and practicing through YouTube videos. She wasn't in tune with hardly any of the song. It's the worst performance AGT ever had on the show. The judges were looking bamboozled and baffled, wondering how she even got on, or how she got on the show. Kelly was so disgraced and confessed that she never had real singing lessons. She said she was self-taught through YouTube videos, and she admitted to hacking America's Got Talent servers so she could get on the roster. She's a criminal.
Oh my god.
After Kelly walked off the stage, a real singer approached the stage, but the audience didn't know Kelly. The authentic singer was now on stage. Wait, I'm confused.
Okay, that's confusing.
Okay.
So Kelly got on stage, hacked the servers, and then got off stage. And then like she came back, maybe in a different dress or like in a different outfit.
Okay. I hope so. They were about to laugh until she began to sing. The audience sat there spellbound as though something magical happened to them because of Janet's singing voice. The AGT judges had never heard anything quite like her voice. After she sang, she received a standing ovation with a request for an encore. When everyone, including the judges, sat down, there was a hush in the crowd where you could only hear sounds outside of the auditorium. One of the judges asked her, "How did you get so great at singing? We haven't heard anyone sing that amazingly in quite some time." Well, I bought a complete comprehensive singing program off the internet. It's called The 4 Pillars of Singing. And I also bought its accompanied book. And I had Coach Robert Lunt, the program creator and book author, do several reviews of my singing, along with having 5 coaching sessions with him. I practiced my butt off every single day for 60 minutes a day for 90 days, putting into practice everything I learned from Coach Robert's singing program, his book, and all of the coaching sessions I had with him. Until finally, I sound as amazing as I did tonight. And it's not all me that gets the credit for my outstanding singing abilities. It was because I went through Coach's 4 Pillars of Singing program and his amazing book, along with his superstar coaching that's made me as great as I am today. For those that want the same singing ability as I have, should check out his program online that you can buy on his site, thevocaliststudio.com. You'll never regret it. You'll begin to make the most significant progress you ever could in singing. His flagship course includes the following: 10 popular singing myths busted that you didn't know were holding you back. Okay, so please note this is not a real story. Only example book it out if you purchase the course. It's a copy of the book and work with them almost every day for at least 60 minutes for a total of 90 days and get coached by Coach Rob.
Dude, I love this. This is great.
You can't have the disclaimer. You can't tell the fake story and then say it's not. Okay. Guys.
Dude, well, this is not a sales letter. This is not a sales letter. This is an advertorial. At least it's an attempt at an advertorial. Okay.
So first of all, you can't tell fake stories. or rather, you shouldn't tell fake stories because that's like you're giving a false impression of what could happen. But if you're gonna do the unethical thing, don't then give it away at the end that you just lied to them.
Yeah, or make it at least plausible. So one thing I noticed here, you can basically just cut away all the part you got where Kelly got off the stage, and then there was a new Kelly, I guess, and then they hacked the server, and just start at like she was on stage and people were gonna laugh because she thought she wasn't good, right? Like you could just like cut everything above that, take it away, remove some of the confusion, because I don't know how it works, how someone gets off the stage, gets back, or the real one was there all along. That's a little bit confusing. But if you basically cut everything away other than like Kelly is on stage, the audience was about to laugh until she began to sing, and then to continue, I think you're going to have something a lot better. I do got to say that I love this. I appreciate this a lot. I don't think this is done, but I do think that you've got a lot of potential to get like actually pretty damn good at copywriting. It's just going to take some
for sure
pulling back.
Radical Baking makes a good point. I think what they were trying to capture with having that she goes on stage, she's terrible, gets booed off, everyone laughs at her, and then she comes back is this sort of contrast where the expectation is very low for them. I think a good way of doing that is kind of set them up, describe them in a way that makes them look like somebody who can't sing. Susan Boyle was a real person who went on maybe America's Got Talent or American Idol, who was like an older woman, kind of overweight.
OG internet memes.
Who then had this amazing voice, and so everyone's like, "Ooh, what are you?" And then just like,
but then basically just the execution of this wasn't clear enough to show that was happening, right? Because there's also like we went from Kelly to Janet. I don't know how that worked. It was a little confusing. I would just keep it simple and say something like, "I was about to step on stage." And I could see, the audience like keeping in their laughter, right? And, then when I started to sing, everyone was quiet, right? Like, and sort of like change it around. Still, I think this is more of an advertorial. I do got to push back a little as well, Rod. Like some people in the chat are saying also, you can have stories that aren't real. Just like show that it's a story, right? Like maybe just even say like, I've got a story to tell, right? Or this is the story of Kelly who did this and did that and blah, 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 right? Like that's perfectly okay.
Sorry, to clarify, what I really meant is don't make a story that is like not
don't fabricate
of results someone could not achieve for the program. No one's going to.
Exactly. What do you have to say with this? I think it's a good attempt, but I think this just needs a lot more work. Honestly, the best advice I can give you, read more ads and sort of see the structure of ads a little bit better. How copy works, because this reads more like you're trying to tell me a story so much than trying to sell me something.
I would be remiss to like not mention that like some of the actual writing things here are not great, and so like working on like increasing your writing ability a little bit. There are lots of sentences that are awkward or are missing pieces to them. There's a whole part where she's monologuing basically, and there's no quotation marks, and so the sort of transition from you describing things to her speaking is not clear. And so just work on that stuff. Everybody has to.
Like for this person, the most important bit right now is my classical advice: read more, write more. Like that's going to get you lots of progress, because what you need is knowledge. You just need more experience writing and reading copy.
And I think also once you've read yourself back to yourself out loud. Because I'm sure
like a week from now,
because I was struggling to read parts of this because it's like kind of convoluted and confusing. And so every time I stopped, really, I probably should have stopped. We should have started talking about it there. But like, if you are writing it and you're reading that to yourself and you notice, hey, this doesn't make sense, or this is confusing to read, go back and edit that part.
Yeah. So like, it's okay to tell stories, but remember the goal is to sell, right? It's to sell. It's to present ideas clearly. is to present good ideas and to get them to take action. Here I feel the focus is too much on the story and trying to like get that emotional reaction, which honestly I appreciate the attempt, but read more, write more. It's going to help you a lot.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Next one.
Yeah, let's do it. A lip balm product description.
Nice.
Target 25 to 45-year-old traditional life into non-toxic living. Wants to use cosmetics, but still present as natural. Okay. How will traffic be driven to page? As of right now, entirely word of mouth and organic search. We'll soon be driving traffic with paid ads, but haven't done the keyword research. Okay. Context: pages on a website specific to one brand. There are an array of skincare products, all using creosote, bush leaf as the primary herbal ingredient. Seriously, lots of big words this critique session.
Really?
Where will this lead them? Add to cart. Don't have upsells set up yet. Pretty straightforward. Okay. So I guess this is a product description. Okay. Preserve your lips' natural beauty with this amazingly soothing medley of all natural ingredients. Feel the natural nourishment of NGDA, antioxidant, 100 times more powerful than vitamin E, and the healing properties of calendula flower. Enjoy the luxurious feel of shea butter and candelilla wax. Blended to perfection, give your lips a silky smooth feel with instant hydration. Terlingua Rain Unscented Lip Balm shows you exactly how powerful Mother Nature can be. Naturally effective. Okay, so how far does this go? Soothes and heals chapped lips for instant relief. Candelilla wax provides protection from drying winds, provides immediate and long-lasting hydration, rich and potent antioxidants which scavenge free radicals caused by exposure to sun and pollutants. Oh my God, this is getting very complex, huh? Luscious, buttery feel on application, delivers a silky smooth smile and polished matte finish. 100% natural ingredients, no parabens, no something, no toxic. Committed avobenzone, yeah, it does. 3 times larger than a standard lip balm, reducing waste. Containers made with 100% recyclable aluminum, and that's it. Okay.
First reaction. I read this and was like, this is a product description.
Yeah, that's true.
I've not seen a lot of lip balm product descriptions, and so I don't have a ton of insight into like what points people tend to sort of hit on. But this sounds like what you're supposed to sound like.
Great to have Alex here to talk about e-commerce.
Yeah. Let's see. So I guess to be more generally like helpful, the thing you want to do with product descriptions is make sure that you're like hitting pain points or interest points for your prospect. Yeah. And so that's kind of where our knowledge is lacking, because it's hard for us to tell you, are these things that people are actually concerned about? These bullets look pretty good to me in terms of like, it's saying what it does. Chapped lips, that's something people have. Like, they want all natural ingredients. They want to, look to be avoiding things like free radicals, like that sort of non-toxic angle that you were talking about. They want to be able to read things about like how it looks like. So it's this matte finish, how's it going to like look once it's on their lips?
I feel there's lots of features here and I don't see so many benefits, but that is something that I do see a lot with lots of product descriptions. Like there's just so much, it's just like, I don't know, man. Like whenever I read product descriptions, it always feels so commoditizing. It's always just like, here are a bunch of facts. Like go buy now because of these facts. Like I feel some of the, like here we see some bullet points. Okay, this is interesting.
Natural, naturally free, responsibly made.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing.
Yeah, very factual. Like I can't really tell you too much like if this has got to work because I don't really know e-commerce so much. Mm-hmm. Just maybe lean more into the benefits. But
the other thing I think it's worth mentioning is like where is this in the funnel? By the time someone is on a product page, and is reading a product description, you pretty much have them, or or they're like at least considering your thing versus other products. And so you don't have to do persuasion at this point. It's just saying this is what it is. These are the features you're wanting. This is like the sort of benefits that you're desiring out of the thing. And so I think that this is effective at that.
True. Yeah. Agreed.
It's clearly written. The sentences are very short, easy to understand. Come into production. We're missing one word, but that's fine.
Like that's always the thing with these ones is that like you can't really talk too much about the persuasion because like sorry to say, but like product descriptions usually are just pretty bland. Just like they're just too factual. You know, it's like like if you don't care about these things, then like you just don't care, right?
Yeah.
If I may challenge you is write like not a product page, but like write a landing page for this product. Like you basically like I think this is a spec piece, right? I'm not sure. But if it is or if it isn't, challenge yourself to write a landing page or a sales page for this rather than a product page. I think that could be really interesting. Or like a VSL or something like that. I think you could challenge yourself to write some interesting copy here.
Yeah. I guess one thing, like reading this again, this line about like shows you exactly how powerful Mother Nature can be. Lines like this to me are sort of like they're like used for framing things. And so like you say this and then you talk about, oh, it has this strong thing, it has that strong thing. And so I would want to make sure that that's higher up. And so you like say this and then you talk about all the features, or you talk about like how, it's 100 times more powerful than vitamin E.
Sure.
But like as this exists right now, you could literally just delete the line and it would still be fine. And so this is really nitpicking.
Yeah, like my problem I have is I see a lot of what's here, a lot of facts, but I don't see a lot of why. That could just simply be because I'm not the target audience. That's why I'm like, it could be cool to see you actually try to persuade people with more of the why rather than just facts.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's good. Let's see. We have one last one. I don't know how long it is though. It is 5:03 though. So if you want to hop off, Luke, I can do this one solo.
We can do this. It's okay. That's gonna be the last one.
The last one.
Yeah, last one for today. How many did we do? 5, 6?
No, we've done 7 so far.
Oh my god.
We were really on our shit today.
We're fast. Wow.
Yeah. All right. So Athlete X is the product. Subject line options. Jaw-dropping transformation you have to hear about. Discover how this hard gainer gained 10 pounds of muscle in under 8 weeks. Name. Check out this transformation. I kind of like that last one. So Athlete X. Skinny hard gainer turns into a complete beast. Name. See the guy below? He looks pretty skinny, right? Flat chest, skinny arms, and narrow shoulders. He looks weak and looks like he couldn't even bench the bar. Look at him now. Is he okay? A total beast. The best thing is that he achieved that in just 12 months. He never counted his calories and only trained 3 days a week. Click here to find out how he did it. What if I told you could achieve the same physique or better? With our new Total Beast program, you build muscle through science-based workouts. That's right. No fads, just science. It's not just another program that overtrains you or gives you complex meal plans. It actually uses science-based workouts that are backed up by the National Strength and Conditioning Association. With the Total Beast program, you get 12 weeks of training, total body split, only training 3 to 5 days. 3 levels of training allows you to train at your ability and get better results. Beast Regenerations, secret recovery tool, day-by-day meal plans with no calorie tracking, plus lifetime access. Everything you need to know to become a beast is inside this program. Your journey starts today. Are you in or are you out? If not, start here today for $93 before the price increases. I'll see you inside. Jeff, certified strength conditioning specialist by the National Strength and Conditioning Association, creator of Athlete X. It's pretty good.
Got a lot of camping gear to unpack here, I think.
Yeah.
First things first, the big critique, I guess. I think you could just cut away the entire little bit of sales and offer bit. Like if you go down,
for sure.
like everything underneath, click here to see how he did it. It can just be killed.
Yeah.
Remove all of that and just only have, look at this guy, look at him now, click here to find out how he did it, right? Like you can just, all of this just gone. Like even including the price hike, just gone. The goal of the email is not to do the job of the sales page. Like all that stuff, have it on the sales page. It doesn't belong here. Other than that, will this work? I'm not sure. Does it disrupt? I think so. It's a pattern interrupt. Does it intrigue? Maybe.
I actually like the premise here. Like the look at this guy and then it calls out specific traits that people in the target audience have that they don't like about themselves. So flat chest, skinny arms, narrow shoulders, like that. They pinpoint those specific things and they're visible in the picture for the person to relate with. I thought it was super smart. And then we've been talking so much about showing and not telling. What easier way to show than to just use pictures? And so to go from this to this, as frightening as this is, it's very clear that a transformation has occurred and this person is in fact a total beast. We're now in a horror movie. But like it is very striking. It is very disruptive to me.
Yeah, it's disruptive. There's some intrigue. Just remove everything under, click here to find out how he did it. And just replace it with Jeff. Like dash Jeff and test that out, I would say.
I think if you had to do more, it's I would agree with you. I would end it at the click here to find out. If you needed it to be longer, you could talk about you could address some of those objections. So he never counted calories and only trained 3 days a week. And there are other people who are doing even better. Or there's X number of people who are doing this. So kind of hitting on that consistency. He's not just some some exception. It's not a fad. It's just using some science-based thing. Just 1 or 2 more lines there, and then get into that. Click here to find out how he did it. But when you have something striking as this
at the end of the show, by the way.
just zoom in on this guy. Oh God. Google doesn't want us to see this. He's too much of a monster.
Yeah. He's trapped, Google. He's trapped. He held on to your browser.
Pulled it down to the absolute monster of a man. But yeah, so again, DIC formula.
Yeah, I mean, DIC formula. I don't know about the this shit's fucking legal. I wouldn't be able to tell you. I guess you need permission from this person to be able to send an email like this. It disrupts. It intrigues to a degree. I think if I were to extend this, I would just try to talk more about the unique mechanism here. Yeah. The how he did it without revealing how he did it, right?
Yeah, I'd go
have another here. Yeah, like using these science-based workouts that confuse your muscles or whatever,
muscle confusion.
Yeah, he confused his muscles into beast mode, or I don't know. That's what I would do, from a architecture of persuasion or email architecture type of decision making there. Okay, let's make it more intriguing. Let's do another CTA to go to wherever you're going to go, assuming it's a sales page.
Yeah,
interesting email though, gotta say.
Yeah, no, I think it was pretty well done. And I guess just to highlight why we're saying don't go all the way through the offer to the price point is the premise of the email is look at this transformation, not here's this new offer. And so
not buy. It's click and discover more rather than buy this program.
Yeah. And so you want to have your call to action be connected to what that's the premise of the subject line and why the person clicked the email in the first place is. Once you get past The subject line was, there were 3 options. So jaw-dropping transformation, discover how they gained, or check out this transformation. And so if the whole thing is someone wants to see, progress pics, show them the progress pics. And if they're interested in replicating that, give them the opportunity to click there. Don't describe the full workout plan, all the offer, yada, yada, yada. Let them see it out in the others.
I do got to say though, it's like, I don't really follow Athlete X, but I'm not sure this would align with his brand.
Oh, sure. Fair.
That's another point to consider. Like, this feels very much like gym bro type of like content. I haven't really seen that so much with Athlete X, at least when I watched some of his stuff like years ago. Maybe that's changed, but at least that's something I would look at or keep in mind and think about, okay, am I actually speaking in the brand's voice? Because this might just totally be what the fuck from Jeff when he sees when he would see it, right? Like if he were to see it.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have like twig arms, so I'm not.
Does this speak to you, Rod? Does this?
It would if I were insecure about my body, but fortunately, I'm like tall and I have broad enough shoulders that if I just wear the right clothes, I don't look like a tree swaying in the wind. But if that weren't me, I would absolutely. I think the other thing too is like, this must be a very specific audience because very few people who look like this want to look like this.
Yeah.
Very few people here are able to look like that. So.
Oh my god.
You see, the problem is I'm 6'4", so like if I look like that, I would just be this gigantic hulking mass of muscle, and I would scare away all our patrons.
Have you ever looked up the Dutch Giant? It's this guy who is absolutely on steroids, but he's like 6'6" or something. Like he's huge, and he's like also muscular. It's actually
7'2".
Oh, he's 7'2". Oh my god, yeah, he's huge, and he's like very, very muscular. It's interesting. Yeah,
he's making all of these people.
That's how you could be, Rod. That could be you.
This is crazy. Here, I'm gonna open a picture of this just so you guys on stream can see this.
This is copy that now.
Let's see, copy image address. This is what this guy looks like, just so you guys just like these people are regular size, and he makes them look like children.
These are not small people. Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's actually like insane, right? But
hey, really,
he openly does steroids, so he basically says it. So hey.
You might have to if you're 7'2" to get the amount of muscle to make you look like regularly proportioned.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's crazy.
Rod, was that a critique stream?
That was a critique stream. We critiqued some copy. We hopefully helped some people. We didn't scare away too many people. Probably.
I mean, we scared Lindsay away.
It's true. Lindsay was so terrified. She knew that beast of a man was coming up and had to excuse herself, which I don't blame her.
Yeah, she already checked the submission. She was like, "I'm not doing this."
Not touching it. She was like, "There's 3 left. I can't even get within 1 of that happening."
All right, you guys.
Yeah, thanks for everyone who's
still watching.
Yeah, thank you for sticking around to the end. You're always a joy. It's funny reading your comments, so that's great. If you want your copy critiqued and it wasn't today, you can join us at patreon.com/thecopythatshow, and we have a special Discord channel for people like you to submit your copy, so then we can then use it as content to then give back to you. It's a really great cycle that helps you and helps us, and so everybody wins.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. I like doing these.
Yeah, it's I'm glad that we have the time to do these now. It's good stuff.
All right. Well, everyone, have a good day. And I would say that's a stream.
That's a stream. Which I'm going to end now. So, bye, guys. All right. The stream